Josh, can you hear me? Aaron can hear me. There we go. All right, I'm getting confirmation. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so again, I'm Ruel Reese, Director of Workforce Programs at Operation Spark. Thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the 32nd graduating cohort at OpSpark. Today, these grads joined the 233 immersion alumni who now work for the likes of Ubisoft, Forbes, DXC, Coniag, Lucid, Accruent, IBM, LCMC Health, GE, General Electric, Entergy, Tulane, iSeats, Mum Software, Whetstone, Zender Communications, Recurly, Levelset, Oxner, Trumpet Advertising, and many, many more. We want to thank our software engineering instructors and student success team for their incredible work keeping our programs running and supporting our students on this journey. I want to call out our instructors, Jessica Torres, Eric Sue, Taylor Shepard, Ryan McFarland, Jackson Gallen, Peter Bardem, Josh Tretzedskowski, who you've met, and our student success team, Zuri Grayson Avery, Brianna Skinner, Jesselyn Daggs, and Tiffany Handy. Thank you to all of you. In addition to our software engineering program, we'd like to thank the members of our high school, dev shop, and administrative teams for their support of the workforce program. Special thanks to Josh for monitoring this evening's event. We want to also welcome our board members, funders, and employer partners. We appreciate your investment in our students. So we're excited to share the work of these three teams who've put extraordinary effort into completing the rigorous demands of our immersion program, and who tonight will take us on a field trip to our favorite pop-up and off to the stars. To Cohort O for Oscar, thank you. You are out of this world. Back to Josh for an intro to immersion and the presentation of apps.
Thank you, Ruel. So let me click over here. So what is the immersion program? The immersion program at Operation Spark is an intensive 3-month course in all things JavaScript, full stack, which is both front end, back end, database servers, and deployment. Everything you need to be a modern web developer. The immersion program itself is split into 2 halves, the junior phase and the senior phase, each consisting of 6 weeks. In the junior phase, the students learn many of the concepts that they will eventually be applying in their careers. They complete a minimum viable product, which they do in about 48 hours, followed by the mid immersion assessment. And then they go into the senior phase where they build 3 projects. We call it Greenfield, Legacy, and then the culmination of everything they learned and what you will see here tonight, their thesis projects. On top of that, they've actually been living in this world, in this program for roughly 6 months. It all starts with the prep program, which is our free intro to JavaScript, lasts for about 2 weeks, followed by boot camp for an additional 5. And then there's the pre-course, which they go into for 2.5 weeks prior to entering immersion. So not only the 3 months they've spent in immersion, they've spent even more going through this. And I know they are very excited to show off their hard work. I won't delay any further. I know you're not here to see me, you're here to see them. So I will allow them to introduce themselves. They will do so in turn. We proceed alphabetically by last name. So to start, I will turn it over to our first graduate, Ibrahim Ali.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Ibrahim Ali. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my webcam right now. So my name is Ibrahim Ali. Like I said, I joined Operation Spark when at the turn of the pandemic, when everything kind of freed up and I was looking to make an exit out of the service industry. And now that I'm done, I would love to pursue something in either data science, cybersecurity, or game development. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. My name is Bradley Black, and I came into Spark during the pandemic as well. And before that, I was working in the live events industry as an audio lead and had messed with coding some before, was interested in it, just did not have the foundation to get many places. And so going through the Spark program, really excited to be where I'm at, have this foundation. Pretty much since I've wrapped up senior, I've already enrolled in like 4 different online courses, just trying to keep this accelerated pace of learning going. There's so much to learn, there's so much to explore, and I'm excited to see where that takes me. Pretty much open to a lot of things. Mobile development is really interesting to me. In general, just the way that people are engaging with their technology, those interactions and how those evolve. It's a cool place to be.
Yeah, my name's Erin Davis. I'm a filmmaker, musician, composer, and now a software engineer. I basically thrive on anything that involves any kind of creativity. I specifically chose Operation Spark because of its growing reputation in the software industry, as well as their overt commitment to inclusion in their programs. Right now, I mean, I'm looking for whatever experience I can get right now, but ultimately, I'd really like to work in the game industry and eventually make my own game.
Hi, my name is Christopher Galizio. I'm from New Orleans. I'm 27 years old, and I was a bartender for a catering company for 6 years. I made the transition into software development after deciding I wanted more of a challenge, and my love for problem solving made it an easy decision. I chose Operation Spark after hearing about it through friends and because of their reputation. And as far as where I see myself in my career, I'm definitely open to all areas of the industry, but I'd like to work for a company with values which align with my own.
Hi, everyone. My name is Samuel Johnson. I'm 24 years old from New Orleans. I chose Operation Spark because of its very structured curriculum. I felt like that would really work best for me and my desired workflow. And in regards to my future, I am focused on finding somewhere that I can wholeheartedly get behind the work that I'm involved in. But if I had to specify, I've really enjoyed working on the past few projects, working with 3D models, and anything that could lead in that direction would be great.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Knowles. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I spent most of my adult life living between San Francisco and Mexico City. I'm a musician. I have experience as a draftsman as well as running a cooperative in the Bay Area. I found out about OpSpark through a friend that graduated the program. I had been interested in software development for years, and I decided to use my free time during quarantine to finally pursue it as a career. I like how software development gives me the perfect opportunity to combine both love for logic and creativity. I like working with open source. I'm passionate and excited about working with new technologies and anything that promotes sustainability. I enjoy working in both the back end and the front end. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Kunz. I was born and raised in the New Orleans area. I graduated from UNO with an English degree, focused in creative writing, but on my way there, I took a lot of computer science classes, and I always thought of it as a potential backup plan. When I found out about Operation Spark, it sounded like the perfect way to learn some of the practical real-world skills and supplement the theory that I learned in college. And they also just had a great reputation for being not just committed to diversity, but also really thorough and really rigorous, and the people that come out of it really know their stuff, and they definitely lived up to that. I can do front-end things, and I may study UX in the future, but I really prefer working in the murky server backend with databases. And if I ever move out of web development, it would be nice to move on to maybe data science or something else that's sciencey.
Hello, everyone. My name is Randolph Perkins. Let's see, I'm originally grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I did have early exposure to the Silicon Valley. sort of ecosystem, and then moved to the South where I've lived half of my life. My background, educational and work, is in architecture, and also my interests include creative writing and literature and philosophy. My first foray into coding was when I took a machine learning course through Coursera, and I was really enamored with it and with data science. And I looked up, organizations for full stack development, and there was one right here in New Orleans, where I currently live. And Operation Spark has been an amazing journey, and so I'm glad I'm more proficient on the front end, although I do like the full stack. And currently I am looking towards certification in AWS cloud computing, but I'm willing to work in anything that would incorporate my architectural background as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah St. Ors. I'm originally from Pensacola, Florida, but I've been in New Orleans since 2017. Before the pandemic, I was a swing dance teacher, and previously I've worked in the nonprofit industry. So I'm excited to bring my passion for mentorship, for leadership, and community investment as I transition into the tech industry. I chose Operation Spark not only for its strong reputation for producing successful graduates, but I also wanted to invest my time and my resources here in New Orleans as I undertook this new challenge professionally. In my career moving forward, I hope to work in front-end development, working towards team leadership, as well as racial and gender equity in tech with a company that aligns with my values. Thank you all for being here to support us tonight.
All right, thank you, everyone. Everyone, let's give a round of applause in the chat for our current graduates. Now we'll get into the main portion of our presentation this evening, which is the thesis projects. So, oh, wrong way. Our first, we go, again, alphabetical order. This is just the order in which the team names are. So first we have DevCon 4 to share their application pop-up, consisting of Ibrahim Ali, Daniel Knowles, Michael Coons, and Randolph Perkins. So take it away.
All right, can everybody hear me? Hi, everybody. My name is Michael. I'm representing DevCon 4. It's me and Randolph, Daniel, and Ebs. So our app is called Pop-Up. It's a pretty basic design. It's an in-browser application optimized for mobile devices designed to connect customers to pop-up businesses. So if I go ahead and log in, we're going to log in through our Gmail account. And the first thing we'll see is this map. When we say pop-up businesses, we're referring to food trucks, open air markets, basically any business that doesn't have a fixed location. And we're trying to give them some of the same advantages that traditional brick and mortar businesses do. So normally you can't really search for a food truck or another pop-up's location because it changes consistently. But here, you'll see if we click on the showgirl, that's for performances, that's Helen's tarot readings. It's like that's going on in the CBD. Right next to it, we have Rick's Colorful Cacti. The potato represents the market. And so we got a PS5 shop, courtesy of Ryan, who's actually an instructor here. It's like he's trying to sell his PS5 if anybody wants it. Yeah, people have asked me, where are you getting this data from? Is there an API? And it's actually all user generated. So as soon as you log in, it's going to set you up with an account. You've got a profile page here, and it's going to take some of your Gmail data and make your account with that. And then you can go over to My Pop-Ups and you can create a pop-up. So if I wanted to create a hair salon, for example, I could simply create a hair salon. We're going to call it a performance because we all know that the salon is really just an excuse to gossip. So we're going to create that. It's going to ask us if we're sure. And we're going to say yes. So now we have a hair salon. We just need to open it. Every time you open your pop-up, you're going to have to set your location since it varies. So set that location, switch it to open, go to your map view, and there's our hair salon. So now I'm going to kick it over to Randolph, and he's going to show us how a user can find new pop-ups with our app.
Thanks, Michael. This is Randolph again, and I'm now sharing my screen. So let me get over to my app. Okay, so I have pop-up app open. The first thing I like to do when I view web pages, if the option is available, I like to select dark mode, and sure enough, we have that setting on the side menu. So we select this moon icon here and is dark mode. So now we have dark mode. So what I would like to do first is look for somewhere to eat. And so I'm going to search pop-ups. I'm going to try the keyword dog for hot dogs. And I see, oh, there's a Rand's Dogs, but that's closed. So I'm going to choose Handsome Dogs. This looks good. Looks like the photos are nice. There's a dog in a bun. First, I'll check the reviews. I notice here, the client wrote pricey dogs. So I'm going to double check their menu to make sure I can actually afford it. And it looks like I can. I think I would go with the veggie dog for $7. So I notice here on the page for the pop-up, it says Audubon Park, but I'm actually going to check that specific location within Audubon Park. So if I zoom out a little bit in the map view, I notice there it is. However, right to the right of it, there's another icon, which is an art easel board. And so I'm going to click that and see what that is. Apparently that's Michael's old tires. I'll click the profile to check it out. And it says, I sell tires in the golf course just in case you get a hole in one. Pretty funny. I'm actually going to leave a review for this one that I'm going to stop by soon. Oops, I'll leave it again. Stopping by soon. And let's see, submit that. And now I've submitted a review. And let me go back to my location view so I can just get my itinerary correct between the two pop-ups that I want to visit. And uh-oh, it looks like Michael's tire shop just disappeared on the map view.
So if everybody can hear me, I can explain that. I am Michael I am the eponymous Michael of Michael's Tire Shop, and we're all out of tires, so I had to close up shop. I'm really glad that Randolph has our app so that he doesn't just get surprised on his way to a hot dog and suddenly can't get the tire that he wanted. But yeah, I like to make art out of the tires, but I find the tires under a bridge by my house, and I put them up for sale immediately. So some rich guy showed up, dropped $50 and just bought my whole stack of tires. This keeps happening. I can't stay open for as long as I want. So I really want a business partner. I met this guy, Daniel. He says he also makes tire art. So I'm going to come over here to my pop-ups, and I'm going to find Michael's Old Tires, and I can actually add Daniel as an owner. So I'm going to start putting him in there, and there you go. Daniel Knowles is now a co-owner of the tire shop. One more thing I'm going to need to do before I sign out is we're all out of tires. I had that stack. He bought the whole thing. So I'm just going to come update my menu, letting people know that those are 86. And honestly, from here, I'm just really curious to see what Daniel does with my old business. So I'm going to pass it over to him.
Hey everyone, Daniel, Michael's new business partner. Let me share my screen here and start the broadcast. Cool. So since Michael has added me already as an owner on his side, all I need to do is go to my pop-ups here. And I should have, here it is, Michael's Old Tires. And we were out of inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and I made some art out of some tires. That's one of the reasons Michael added me, is we have that in common. So I'm going to upload some photos. Let's see, we're going to do, I made some Minions one. And let's do this one here with the fish. It's very popular. All right, cool. And then we can go to the menu here and update the products. So I'm just going to say styled tires. And we're going to sell them for $45 each. And you see the product has been added there. Also, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually traveling right now and I'm trying to work on my Spanish. So I'm gonna go into, we have a language setting in our app where I can change it to Spanish. And then I'm gonna go back to my pop-up and I'm gonna open it. But since I'm traveling, actually, I'm gonna go and open it up here in Mexico City. So we can set our location and then open the app. And if we go and search for the tires, for Michael's old tires, you can see that now the location has changed and there's our photos and our menu as well with our styled tires. So I'm gonna pass it over to Ebes for the tech stack.
Hughes, you might be muted. Yeah,
Yes.
Hughes, I think.
Hello?
Yeah, there you go.
Zoom was doing that full screen thing, or maybe it was the slides. All right, take two. My name is Ibrahim, and this is our tech stack. We have Node.js for all of the JavaScript. We used React.js and React Router, along with Bootstrap to handle our front end, and the styling was handled by styled components. Babel and Webpack in conjunction handled the compilation of our code. Cloudinary was our image hosting software. We used MySQL and its ORM SQLized for the database. OAuth and Passport were used to do the account authentication. And finally, we deployed our website on Amazon's EC2 service using Nginx and Let's Certbot for encryption and SSL. Also, we use the Google Maps API for the little map. That is all.
All right, great job, guys. App looks great, and this app is live. If anyone on this call wanted to go visit it right now, how would they go about doing that?
So you can go to popupapp.com. The full address is https www.popupapp.com, but just popupapp.com will get there. It's dashes between each word, pop-up-app.com. And I can go ahead and throw a link to it real fast in the chat.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right, now we'll open it up to questions. So throw it into the chat and I'll read it. And our talented team here will would love to answer them. All right. Sarah asks, what is the piece you are most proud of?
I was really into the themes. We use Theme Provider to do like the dark mode and all that. And also the language function was really fun. Used hooks, basically, React hooks. Yeah, for me, that was that.
I guess I'm really proud that we have both the language function and the light and dark mode, because we've talked about wanting to do kind of go above and beyond the requirement for accessibility features, because we really wanted this to be an app that people might use. So I'm glad that we really doubled down on our accessibility features.
Yeah, I personally am a huge fan of the language, English to Spanish. I think it's very thorough and it's a great accessibility feature. So with Google Maps for businesses of this kind, most businesses have a permanent brick and mortar location. The business in this app was made with the people that don't open in one permanent location at a permanent time at all times. So this was kind of a product created to cater towards that audience.
I wanted to jump on the next question, which was what was the feature that we wanted to use but couldn't. Just on a coding side, we were hoping to incorporate state management via like Redux or Recoil. That would have at least helped us in writing the actual code for the app. That's it. Thank you.
And I can take the next question as far as your location goes. It actually just will always default you to New Orleans right now. We have a lot of stuff on the back end for like location reading and being able to switch your location. And we have not put any of it on the front end yet, largely because we just kind of didn't think we would have time to present it anyway. So it didn't make the priority list for stuff to get done before our presentation. But a lot of it is halfway completed and probably will be fully completed within the next week.
All right, next question from Ruel. What did you learn about SQL that was fun or interesting?
I can take this one actually because so we needed to do a lot of many-to-many relationships between users and merchants, and not just we needed multiple of them. Like we needed a many-to-many relationships between users and the reviews they gave to merchants, between users and a merchant can have multiple owners, and also a user can own multiple merchants. And I didn't realize it's actually pretty esoteric for it's easy to do one many-to-many relationship between two tables, but it's actually kind of difficult to do many-to-many relationships between two tables. It's hard to even say that sentence without descending into gibberish. But I thought it was interesting that that part wasn't as intuitive as I thought it would be.
That's a great answer.
Oh, thanks, Daniel.
Ruel also says great answer.
I'll chime in and say thank you. Good answer, Michael.
Next question from Larry. What was the hardest part of building out the project?
I'll just start by just saying, just getting everybody together and what parts to work on. It's just I think we were pretty fast with the Ibrahim and Michael came up with some ideas really quickly, and then we went into production pretty fast. But just getting everybody together, working on definitely GitHub pushing stuff and merge conflicts and things like that.
I can second that. As far as any piece of a tech stack goes, everything's kind of difficult when you first learn it, and then once you do it, then it makes perfect sense. So it's hard to really rank them. They're all hard at first, and then they're all easy after that. But communication is always difficult. It's so hard to communicate. Some of these concepts are so heady, and when you get down to them, they're actually simple, but there's just no good language for it. And when you compound that with a bunch of people learning it as we go and having to teach it to each other, that throughout Spark has been the ultimate challenge, really. That's been the hardest thing, not just for our thesis, but for really the past few months. Everything I've done from my perspective.
All right, do we have any other questions? Is it going once, going twice? All right, if you have any other questions for this group, again, we will have a further Q&A following the showcase. And if you want to sign up for that, just let us know. Otherwise, great job. The app is live. The link is posted in the chat a little bit above if you do want to go visit it. Another round of applause for DevCon before we move on to our next group. Right. Great.
Thank you, Mom.
Awesome. So thanks, DevCon. We'll move on to our next presentation now. We've got 2 left. The next is the group Space is Cool to present their app Soul XR of Bradley Black, Aaron Davis, and Sam Johnson. So I won't delay any further. Take it away.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for being here, everybody. Let me get screen sharing on my phone. All right, as Josh said, we are team Space is Cool. Oh, look, I got a fun frozen image. I think that's gonna stay there for the duration. That's all right. So Space is Cool is Samuel Johnson, Aaron Davis, and me. And this app that we've been working on is called Soul XR. And we had a lot of fun making it. Got to kind of dip our toe into a lot of different things that we wanted to explore. And through this journey, we ended up learning this was going to be a native iOS application. And so that's why this presentation's on my phone. So I'm gonna drop to my phone background here. You can see Soul XR right there. So we're gonna get going. For this app, you can sign in with your own username, password. You can also sign in with Apple. I'm gonna do a retina scan here. Face ID. And we're off, so let's enter. So when you arrive in the app, this is the home screen. It's a couple things here. That bottom toolbar is your main navigation path through the app. At the top, some of these sections will have sub menus, and so that's the top toolbar in each. So what we like to do when you get this app open is to bring you to NASA's image of the day, and this will change every day. Every day you visit the app, you get a new image of space. That star on the bottom right corner is for favoriting images, and usually that star gets clicked. This is probably the most disappointing image of the entire lifespan of this app, and I'll verify that for you in a second. I mean, even if you can scroll up here to get more info, this gives you instruction on how to look directly at the sun and tediously place your finger between you and it. I wouldn't recommend it. Instead, I'm going to show you some of the favorites. We'll just go through some of these. Most of the images are really spectacular. You want to hang on to them. Sombrero Galaxy is a Space is Cool favorite. I'm going to swipe up and you can learn about this. Again, this all comes from NASA's Image of the Day API. So it's a pretty cool service. And we wanted just to give this UI kind of over to it. And just a great, easy way to kind of get started and engage with great space photography. There's one in particular I want to find. And all of them I want to find. There we go. All right, satellites over Orion. I'm going to leave y'all here. I'm going to stop the screen share. Aaron is going to pick you up and continue through the app.
Thank you, Bradley. So let's go ahead and get screen shared right fast. There we go. Cool. So I'm gonna head right over to the app. First thing, now that Bradley's taking you through our home screen, I'm going to take you through some the rest of the app before we get to the really fun stuff at the end. First and foremost, we're going to stop off at the Learn screen right down here. It's right next to the home screen. And you'll see that it says tap here to start your journey. So I'm going to follow those directions. This is a randomized Carl Sagan quote. I programmed about 7 of them into here. This happens to be my favorite one and the one I think is most apt for our app. It starts off with science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality. And that was kind of like one of the guiding principles when we were making this. So down there, you can see it says swipe right to begin. Let's follow the directions. Before we get too far into the solar system, I need 2 things from the audience, and feel free to post this in the chat. I'm looking at it right now. I need your favorite major celestial body, including the 8 planets and the sun and the moon. And I also need your favorite decade between the 50s and now. All right. Oh, I'm getting a lot of Jupiter. Okay. Okay, cool. Looks like it's going to be Jupiter. So let's head right over to Jupiter right fast. Learn a little bit about the gas giant, as it's called. Let's go down to more info. We'll learn some of the special characteristics of it. Obviously, the great red spot, some fun facts. You might not know it is the fastest spinning planet in the solar system. Now that we've gone over that, you can see we have all of the major bodies right here. Let's go over to the timeline. And let's see, I think I saw a couple different ones for the 80s. So let's go to the 80s. Let's swipe down to the 80s and see what's happening in manned space exploration here. Oh, look at that. So we have Pioneer 10 right here on June 13th, 1983. It was the first man-made object to cross outside of our solar system. You can actually click right here for a video on the topic and it'll bring you straight to YouTube right there and you can learn more about it. That being said, that's pretty much all the Learn screen has to offer for now. I want to bring you over to our event screen, which is one of the simpler features, but worth checking out. If you're into astrophotography or any kind of astronomy or telescopes or anything like that, you probably want to stay up to date on major celestial events that are happening in the sky. And we have a kind of calendar laid out with this data we found that will tell you exactly where, if it has a position, and what time it's happening. If you don't feel like checking this every week too, we actually, that brings us over to our settings screen. You can actually sign up for our astral emails. You can put your email address in right here, hit submit. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it. And we have a bunch of other stuff here on our settings screen as well. From top to bottom, let's look at it. We have the readable font feature, which we did a lot of research into, and it seems to be some amount of scientific consensus around Arial being a font that is more readable for those with dyslexia or might be hard of reading or hard of seeing. So you can switch it over and you can see that change persists throughout the app, makes a couple things bolder and a little bit bigger, just to make it a little bit easier to read throughout. Next up is a feature that I'm particularly proud of, the music feature. I actually composed several musical pieces for this app. So if you turn on the music right here, you should be getting what is called the ambient theme. This is more for whenever you're reading a lot of the text we have in our app. Definitely don't want anything too busy, kind of something there in the background to kind of get you in the mood of like space exploration. Other than that, you can also switch over to the original theme, which is a little bit more lively, has a little bit more instrumentation, and has some a little bit more complexity happening to it. And you could also choose just to turn it off altogether. Now that I've kind of brought you through the rest of our app, I want to pass it back to Bradley and eventually over to Samuel to go over the really fun part, the augmented reality. So take it away, y'all.
Thanks, Aaron. All right, so as Aaron said, we got this one feature left at the bottom of the app. It's the space shuttle. I'm going to click it, and this brings us to our experiences menu. So these are 3 different AR experiences we've designed for the user. You can click this little info bubble. It'll tell you how to use it. I'm just going to go ahead and launch the first one and just demo how to use it. So the first one's called Planet Clicker, and this is going to be sort of like a remote control clicker for the 8 major planets of the solar system and the sun and the moon. What we're going to do is launch the feature. Camera's going to look for a gray rectangle, found a gray rectangle, and we're going to drop a planet there. We'll drop the sun initially, and you can see there's an orbit animation. I'm going to click the sun. We're going to get shrunk a little bit. These are kind of scaled for usability. There would be no way to accurately reflect the mass of these objects in a way that the user could then engage with. So, you know, we did a little bit of a scaling algorithm to get everything working nicely. We can pass through a few more. Definitely want to go visit Saturn. Hey, we're at Saturn. Nice. And yeah, so that's Planet Clicker. And that same sort of launch pattern we're going to use here for Solar Snapshot. Going to look for a gray rectangle. And in this instance, we are going to see the solar system. And what's interesting about this is when I just launched that feature, we did a quick capture of the date and time. We actually fed that into our algorithm to retrieve the current position of all of these solar bodies. So this is basically a live look. As of about 10 seconds ago, we are there, can confirm, and you know, there's everybody else on Mars, and you can see a few planets are missing, so I'm gonna do a pinch here. Both those features have a pinch. You can zoom in and out depending on the space you have. If you're in a big parking lot, you got a lot of space for your solar system, you can expand it accordingly. Looks like we're getting close. Yeah, there's Jupiter's making its way into the picture. Now we got Saturn. The scale of the solar system is such that you really have to zoom out to get okay. There's Neptune. And Uranus is around. So that's our solar snapshot feature. And we got one more feature for you, and Sam is going to introduce you to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Bradley. Yeah, so Aaron and I collaborated on this last feature, and Aaron took care of the 3D spatial audio that you will hear. She wrote an original piece of music that is spatially tracked in a 3D environment. So I invite you to listen critically to distinguish how it changes with each portal, preferably with headphones if you have them. And our 4 portals that we will be seeing will take us into the Milky Way, the Atacama Desert down in Chile, in between the Earth and the Moon, and lastly inside of a retired space shuttle. So I will go ahead and launch, and y'all can check it out. And that will do it for our AR feature and the portals. I will pass it back to Bradley for our tech stack.
All right, everybody, take one more trip into my phone here. 4. The tech stack. Okay, so we use React Native for our front end. React Navigation was used to get those menus going and for managing screens. Vira Media is what we use to get AR rolling. We use sign in with Apple. NASA's API. Over in the top right, yeah, we have an AWS instance running an EC2 with a SQL server. That's for persisting user data. SQLize ORM. We also have a node mailer and a cron worker. Those are working together to give out our weekly subscription of astronomy, of viewable astronomy events. And so on the bottom right is Xcode. We had to send everything through Xcode to get it publishable for iOS, and Metro for compiling. I think that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome job, guys. And the app looks great. Quite a lot of people impressed here in the chat. If people wanted to go and use this application, how would they do it?
solexrapp.com is live. It's a splash page for you right now. You can sign up to our email list. You'll find out when this does go live in the App Store.
Yeah, we've been in the process of getting on the App Store for a couple of weeks now. It's kind of a slow burning process, but we expect it to be up at some point in the next week. So keep your eye out.
All right, so cool. First question from Paul. Not really a question, it's a statement, but tell us about your debugging experience with this app.
So you want us to tell you about Xcode, basically. So much of our time was spent trying to make VS Code and Xcode behave with each other. And so much time was spent on debugging that. We created an entire debugging process just to get our changes from one person's computer to another. Like I could go over it in my sleep right now, like the 7 steps we have to take to even get it running on someone else's phone. But maybe, yeah, Sam and Bradley probably have some more to say about that too.
Oh yeah, just reiterating the Xcode, just a lovely piece of program to work with.
Yeah, just the nature, I guess, of cross compiling in general is sort of just the Wild West. Too many sort of competing interests. You know, I mean, we're using Facebook products trying to like crash into Apple products, and you sort of feel some of that strain. Apple just wants to beckon you in just to only use their workflow, and we're just trying to be reasonable, and you just sort of find yourself kind of in the midst of that. Yeah.
Awesome. Larry comments on that, said, I've dealt with Xcode before. What a wonderful software. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that is sarcasm based on the way that's written. From Paul, another one, were you ever able to step into the code and trace it through? It seems to be one of the biggest challenges on their projects.
I don't know if I fully understand what you mean by trace it through, but I mean, as far as maybe, yeah, could you clarify on that? Unless like Sam or Bradley, if y'all have an answer.
I was just going to say in terms of.
Oh, okay. You mean kind of like the typical debugging stuff that you would go through with like web development in particular. It is a little bit different with like mobile and iOS development, definitely. You gotta look a little bit harder for like those console logs and everything, for sure. Yeah, if Bradley or Sam want to add to that at all?
Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. Like there's a you know, Expo is React Native's, you know, built-in engine for exporting for iOS or for Android, and there are debugging tools there.
you know, what we kind of found out is that it like the man, it would just make the phone run hot because that server connection is happening wirelessly. It has to be wireless. You can't really run on the device itself and debug it without that wireless connection. And just like the data package transferring back and forth was enormous. It made us, I think, a lot more wary of like the size of our AR assets than we needed to be. Once we got to release builds, we were, you know, flying high and everything was smooth, and really had a much better app than we thought we did. And it was just sort of because of that process of trying to sneak it onto the phone and test it out with Expo, but not really getting a realistic look at what we had.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say the whole process got easier once we were able to get those builds through, because it's like all the processes were laid onto like the phone's hardware itself, and not so much like, you know, these simulations and stuff we've been running, or like, you know, running through that hardwire connection. Yeah, for sure.
All right, excellent. Next question from Kevin. Was there a scenario where you had to pivot from a feature you originally wanted to implement, and did it make it into this version in some form or fashion?
Sure, yeah.
You go first, yes.
Sorry. We originally wanted to use some 3JS modeling incorporated into the Learn feature specifically, to make some 3D models of the planets and the different tech in the timeline. We were unable to get that in. Just handling 3JS with React Native was sort of the big issue there. But I think we compensated for it by adding more AR features and getting that more fleshed out, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely second that one. I think I know what Bradley's going to say about our lookup feature that never fully came to fruition about looking up in the sky. But as far as my stuff goes, I think I really wanted SFX, like sound effects throughout the app, like when you're going through the Learn screen and you get like typing animations and stuff like that. We just kind of ran the clock out on that. So I kind of devoted a little bit more time towards music and a little less towards like, you know, put all my eggs in one basket rather than splitting them into two, basically.
And how long did you work on this app?
I don't same amount of time as everybody else. That was a month or so, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you count some time after senior, about a month, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to point out to everyone again, they build these apps in the span of 4 weeks. So that's very impressive what we've seen from these two groups in 4 weeks, and we have one more that's going to show off. Awesome job. Are there any other questions before we move on to our final group? All right. One last comment from Greg. Space is cool. Space is cool is cool. All right, awesome. One more round of applause for the group Space is Cool. Their app is, they have a landing page. Their app will hopefully be up on the App Store very soon. Now we have one last group to go, and that is Thumblords, who will unfortunately only have 2 of the 3 members here tonight, Chris Golizio and Sarah St. Ors. Unfortunately, Zach Hester could not be here tonight. He had a personal thing he had to take care of, so we wish him the best. But I will turn it over now to Chris and Sarah to present their app field trip.
Thank you, Josh. All right, bear with me as I get my screen shared here. All right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. So again, my name is Sarah St. Ors, and along with Christopher Galizio and our teammate Zach Hester, we are Thumb Lords. And Christopher and I will be presenting our app Field Trip on behalf of our team this evening. Okay, so we believe in free and open access to information and encouraging field trippers, our users, of any age to connect with their world through learning. Field Trip acts as a science learning resource hub. So it has informational categories including space, earth, natural history, and a general science category as well. And that provides users with an opportunity to explore these scientific topics on a personalized platform. Studies show that continued learning as an adult helps with brain elasticity, with memory, with confidence, with overall health, and as well as many other benefits. Personally, I was never really into science as a kid, but as an adult, I've developed a real love and appreciation for learning about the physical world and the world around us. So I use science learning as part of my self-care routine as a way to feel grounded and connected to the world. But as we like to say, this is your field trip, take it wherever you want, no permission slip necessary. So let's go ahead and get into our demo for the app. So when we navigate to discoveryfieldtrip.com, we arrive here at our home screen, and you can see sort of a general description of the app and basic instructions for how to utilize the platform. But we'll go ahead and log in with Google so that we can access the rest of our features. Great. So when you log in as a user, you'll be greeted with this daily challenge prompt. The daily challenge is really just to provide an incentive and some friendly accountability for your learning journey if you want that as a user. So as the user explores on our discovery page, they will earn stamps on their passport in order to meet these daily challenges. And you can see here with the congrats message that I've already reached my, my goal for the day of meeting that challenge. So I will go ahead and pass it over to Christopher to talk about the discovery page, some of our customization features, as well as our accessibility feature.
Thank you, Sarah. So as you can see, I have not been as good about my learning regimen as my daily challenge is still incomplete. The site is telling me to go to the Discovery tab, so let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to switch it to dark mode just because I like it better. And so here, I'll start by talking about our accessibility feature. So we believe that users should feel comfortable while connecting to information about the world around them. To assist with this, we added a font size feature, which will increase and decrease the font size if need be. And it can reset back to default. Okay, so I'll start by choosing a category. I'm going to go with history first. And so that'll change the background for the whole site, and it will also change the subject matter of the articles and documentaries you get. And so when we navigate to the discovery page, we'll start on our save section, which are just all the articles and documentaries that you have saved. And yeah, so those are there. And so if we go over to our read section, we can see all our articles, which are based on the category that we chose. If we wanted to save another one, we could just click the heart in the bottom corner. And we can see that it is now in our save section. And let's say we read this one. It'll open up a new tab and take you to the original source. And now we can delete it. And the same goes for the watch section pretty much. Switch over to space. And so you'll get space related videos and documentaries. Let's, I think this was the daily challenge for today, so let's go ahead and watch this. And now if we navigate back home, you can see that I don't think I let it load for long enough. Now if we go back to our homepage. Okay. Well, okay, so here's our stamp from the article that we read, and we can go ahead and choose an avatar. And now I'll pass it back to Sarah for the rest of the app.
All right, thank you. I think we may be having a bit of internet loading issues, which is maybe why, but I can show on my end. So if we navigate back to our user profile here, I'm gonna go ahead and pick a category as well so I can use some of those customization features that we've got. So each category has a variety of backgrounds that we can choose, right? Some really beautiful images. This site is really well suited to a desktop because it has a lot of really cool big visuals. But I'll go ahead and pick one. We'll stay there for now. All right, so what Chris was trying to show earlier was when you achieve your daily challenge, you'll have this trophy stamp rendered as well, and we can see all of our resources that we've already utilized on our passport here. And another customization thing, we can also choose a new avatar. So I am partial to the googly cactus. But we've got other options like the Astro Jelly, we've got Fair Whoa. So you can, again, sort of customize your experience on the app and make it really comfortable and nice for yourself. I'm gonna stick with Googly Cactus, the good one. So as I mentioned, so here on the passport, we have a record of all the activity that we've done on the app, but maybe you're someone that really likes some chronological order in your life. So we have a timeline feature as well, which will give you your activity on the app in chronological order. So you can use that to have an additional view of your progress in the app. All right, and our final feature that I will go ahead and show is our community photo board. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch this to another background as well. So the community photo board is intended for letting all users of the app to be able to share their own experiences and their own exploration and their own, their own journeys with other users. So you see, we've got a variety of pictures in here. I'm big on plants, so several of my plants are in here. A couple of these are from my trip to Arches National Park, but we'll go ahead and choose a file to upload. This Frida Kahlo, well, it's already in there, but we're gonna add it again. So when you submit a photo, you'll see it rendered in our community photo board. And again, just a sort of community building aspect of this particular app. So that is it for our demo, and I'm gonna pass it back to Christopher to talk about our tech stack.
So we used, for our front end, we used React, Bootstrap, Material UI, CSS, and style components, and React Router. We compiled with Webpack and Babel. Our backend consisted of Node.js, Express, Axios, Passport, and Google OAuth for authentication, Cloudinary for our photo uploads, MongoDB, Cloud Atlas, and Mongoose for our database. Our data came from NASA, YouTube, and news APIs, and we deployed with an AWS EC2 instance using PM2 for our server and Nginx. Thank you.
All right, and the same question I asked before. If anyone here wanted to go and visit this app right now, how would they go about doing that?
You can navigate to discoveryfieldtrip.com.
Easy, very easy. Great job. Looks great. Just as with the other two apps, many impressed people here in the chat. I will open it now for questions. Our first from Paul. What kind of challenges did you run into?
So I can speak to this first. I think just sort of echoing what the other groups have sort of said, maybe one of the biggest like overarching challenges that was not necessarily technical was just the fact that we're all brand new devs learning as we go. So there were a lot of sort of unforeseen issues that would pop up that we'd have to work through, and you know, that's just kind of the name of the game, honestly. But as far as a technical issue, we had a lot of challenges with deployment and getting our Google authentication to work nicely with AWS and Nginx. We had to go about that a couple of times and work through some issues. So that was definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, deployment was definitely the most trying part of the whole process. And we got it working, and then 2 days ago it stopped working. So.
Yeah, that ate up a lot of time for us.
Next question from Kevin. What's your favorite feature on this app?
I personally like the background stepper.
Yeah, I really liked the app overall is sort of inspired by my favorite podcast. So just sort of overall the discovery page and being able to sort of have compiled resources for given topics was something that I was really proud of and I really like. So the discovery page.
And Paul says, nice looking app. Has Gina, nice job. Randolph, excellent work. Any other questions? From Sam, can you categorize the community photos?
Not yet. Maybe that's a 2.0 things. Again, there's a lot of things, you know, we did this in a few weeks, so there were a lot of things that we wanted to add but didn't get a chance to. But yeah, that's a great. I wanted to be able to add like descriptions on the photos as well and sort of be able to make that a little more robust. But again, with time limitations, we did what we could do.
Randolph, what front-end software contributed the most to your exceptional visuals?
Definitely Material UI.
For sure.
Almost everywhere.
Yeah, and a lot of the images I think came from that NASA API as well.
Yeah.
So just being able to have like really good high res images to use was really helpful.
And from Kevin, what's something that you wish you could have implemented differently?
Go ahead, Christopher. Go ahead.
I really wanted to add some pagination to the news articles. We just ran out of time, like everything else. But just to have multiple pages of different articles.
Yeah, something differently. So initially I was really excited to be able to do podcasts, but then sort of working through, we were trying to initially use like Spotify and add that in, but the scope of our sort of initial idea was a little too much of a chunk. So we ended up cutting the podcast, but that would be something I would want to add.
All right, awesome. Any other questions? Going once, twice, and all right, we'll wrap it there. Again, you can get in touch with this group and all of them for further conversation here as we wrap up our program tonight. And so great job. Finish up. Remember, DevCon, Space is cool, Thumb Lords. Go to these URLs and you can begin interacting with their applications. So thanks everybody for attending tonight. This was a great showcase. I want to once again reiterate to anyone who may be looking to add some future developers or know somebody who might be, these apps were built in 4 weeks, all 3 of them. So imagine what they could do given a full year to work. So very impressive. One last round of applause for the 32nd graduating cohort of Operation Spark. Special thanks to Ruel Royce, our Director of Adult Operations, for his words earlier this evening. Peter Barnum as well, who was the actual instructor for this specific cohort. And our CEO, John Fraboni, for all that he does to make this work. I know he could not be here tonight. And also to everyone who attended. Thanks so much for supporting these graduates as they went through this program. Many of you who have either gone through it before, are going through it now, or know somebody who has, can understand just how much work they've put in and how hard they worked throughout all of this. So thank you for the applause, the positivity. I will put these breakout room links into the chat for anyone who wants to join. And other than that, one last thing before we sign off, also a round of applause for our current seniors who did attend tonight. Thank you very much. They will be featured in their very own showcase 2 months from now. So thanks everyone. Have a great night. Everyone be safe. And I will again put those links in here for anyone who wants to meet with these groups further.
Josh, you didn't put links in the chat.
Classic Josh.
Classic Josh. Oh, Larry, long time no see. I didn't realize that was you that said that.
Yeah, man. It's It's been a while, huh?
It's been a
Yeah,
minute.
I'm struggling. Yeah, I work for a company out of Chicago called Carrier Direct, and we use Angular 11, and it is a learning curve to say the least.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's not bad though,
You were well prepared to take on the challenge, right?
without a doubt. Like I can say, if anybody's actually listening here, I can without a doubt say that the program wholeheartedly prepared me to just dive headfirst into stuff. Without learning how to actually do that, I would have been massively blocked, to say the least. But yeah, it's definitely helped me for sure, learning how to dive in.
For sure. Figure out how to problem solve and understanding the whole picture makes a big difference.
That is 100% what it is. Just figure out a bug, sit there, read some documentation, look at how you can actually solve it, think about it logically, and then it's good. And that's pretty much what I do.
Absolutely. Yeah. But are you enjoying it otherwise?
Yeah, I love it. The job itself is great. I'm extremely happy that I made a career path switch to this. I wouldn't choose anything different. As stressful as it gets sometimes, I'm still not as stressed as I was in other jobs. It's just logical that you have to sit there and think about.
Well, regardless, there's stress in every job, no matter what it is.
Yeah, right. Right. It's not as bad as the other ones. It's pretty easy going.
Sure. It's good talking to you, man. Good catching up.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Gotta jump.